Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Barton, and we're in week 2 on this cold week where we're going to start really warming up to our topic of rhetorical analysis. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you from your perspective some tips and ideas that should help you navigate Blackboard because I know it can be a challenge for students. So you do have these links along the top. The ones that are most important to you are this content one. That's where you're going to see all your weekly tasks that you are to do. The announcements one, if there's anything I need to globally announce to the class, that one is important to you as well. I will make sure that those notes are up there like all week is great. All of week 1 is graded. Please check with me if you have any questions or concerns. I wouldn't use this link. It can confuse people on where they're going and how to get there. I would stick straight to the content here. I wouldn't use the calendar. I wouldn't use the discussion, but the grade link is helpful. And this is what it looks like. Clearly, this is the fake student, right? You can see that this is my fake account. And you can see that these are assignments that have been graded and the score is located here. So it's showing that I've gotten a 0 on this one. And why is it? It's because it's past due. This one has not been graded. It's gray, but it's showing past due. So these might be helpful for you as you're starting to navigate it. And as we get into the writing, I will leave a lot of extensive feedback for you, and that will be located here so you can quickly see it. And you can link from any of these into that assignment and start attempt. So if you see it's a 0 and it's something that you're looking to make sure that you complete, you can do that as well. One of the things I also find helpful for students is to use this right here. So I can look at what is past due. I can look at what's unopened. I can look at due date. So all of these things should help you navigate the grade book just to make sure you have that second backup way of making sure all assignments are done. I know some of you have mentioned that the check marks don't always work in Blackboard, and this is a new platform for ChattTech this semester. They're aware of the issue, and right now I do not have a workaround for it. All right, so let's go back to content then. You should have completed everything and start here, and you should have completed everything in week 1. So we're ready to head into week 2. And as I showed you last week, always start with this weekly overview and checklist. You should have already done it because you found this video, although I am going to put it in announcements this week as a way to help us make sure that we're looking at this every single week. Again, this information is more of just a bigger, broader overview for those of you like big picture to know where we're going. It's not necessary that you read it in its entirety, but it is helpful to kind of hone in on where it is that we are working towards this week. This part mentions the weekly check-in video and the importance of it. And as you can see, I chock it full of information that you definitely want to know. And then this is that checklist that I talked about. Separate than the green checks or the checklist that you have within Blackboard, this is a place for you to make sure that you've done it. You've watched the weekly video, you've watched lecture video 1 and you've done something with it. You watched lecture video 2 and you've done something with it. You've watched and then you've watched lecture video 3 and you've done something with it. So this really is a great place for you to check and say, have I done all of the components that I need to do? Now, I've had students say, do I really need to watch those lecture videos? Yes. In lieu of a textbook, in lieu of a bunch of soft chalks that I know a lot of us do not like, neither do I. That's why I try to, when I can, get rid of them and use my own materials for you. That's where the videos come from. And that's where you're going to find how to do all of the assignments that you do. As you navigate through it, you're going to find my videos linked here. This first one is a background of rhetoric. And then you're going to do an assignment with it where you're practicing annotating a text for the rhetorical situation. Then you're going to have a lecture about rhetorical analysis. How do I go from annotating for the rhetorical situation to writing a rhetorical analysis? And that's what this video is going to look at. And then you're going to choose a text to do here and do an activity with it that is more reflective before we finally get into the nuts and bolts of actually writing a rhetorical précis, which is the writing format for rhetorical analysis, and submitting that response. So that's kind of the rabbit trail that we're going down this week. You're going to learn what the rhetorical situation is. You're going to annotate a text for it and provide that to me. You're going to read another text where you start to analyze the text and reflect on the rhetorical situation. And then finally, you're going to write a rhetorical précis. And all of those lecture videos are chunked by design to help you through this process. So please make sure you follow them in order and try not to skip around. Now, I went over that really quickly, so I do want to go into the actual assignments themselves. And we're going to start first with that practice of the rhetorical situation. I showed this to you last week. I'm going to go over it again because it's super important to support you. But the assignment sheet itself is designed a very specific way to support you in your understanding of this course. It's called the TILT method, teaching and transparency in teaching and learning. And how it works is it's split into 4 key parts: purpose, task, criteria for success, and modeling the product. The purpose is why. Why are we doing this? And what skills are we learning? The task tells you how. It gives you the point-by-point breakdown of how to complete the assignment. The criteria for success is where you're learning about how I am assessing your understanding of this concept. Sometimes this might be a rubric. Sometimes it might be more holistic, like you see here. And then finally, and I think probably the most important, is a model of what my expectation is. So if these are the steps, I got to watch these 2 video clips, and then I've got to annotate it for these specific parts of the rhetorical situation. What does my writing look like? And here it is. And you can honestly copy this out and change it to the text that you're doing and submit it straight through here. Just a note, because we've learned MLA, everything should be in MLA. Now, I'm not providing you MLA here because of the format of the assignment guidelines, but make sure your response is in MLA format. And so this is really a helpful way of understanding what the expectation is from me to you. All right, so I've gone over the actual assignment structure. Let's break down the assignment itself. So after you watch lecture 1, you are going to watch these 2 video clips from the same speaker. These are from President Bush and his address to the nation after September 11th, and then 3 days later at Ground Zero. And you are analyzing these texts for the rhetorical situation. I'm going to give you a very specific tool to use called SpaceCat, and that's what you're going to see the outcome look like. SPACECAT. That's SpaceCat right there. That's after lecture number 1, practicing the rhetorical situation. Then you're going to complete lecture number 2, and you're going to apply what you learned in lecture 1 and lecture 2 to a new text. And these texts take us back to the theme of our course, that idea of food as a connecting power structure within society. You have 2 texts to choose from. They're linked right here for you. Holy Tomatoes by Sean Dietrich, or Old Bay in My Bag by Emma Choi. And it doesn't matter which one you do. You can choose whichever you want. You are going to write a post that responds to the prompts for the discussion board in 150 to 200 words, answering these questions. And then you're going to respond to 2 classmates. That's what the grade is attached to. Initial post of 150 to 200 words, peer responses, and then I'm just looking for you to use good grammar sense. Now, because it's a discussion board, it doesn't need to be in MLA. Only the things that you're submitting to me need to be in MLA. So what does this look like? Well, here is my initial post. So you have an example of what the post looks like, and I'm looking for something similar from you. And if you notice, I bolded these words: writing, rhetoric, action, deliberation, engagement, and contingency. So I remembered to address them down here. If that helps you, use it. Okay, that was lecture 1. Lecture 2. Now let's get into lecture 3. Lecture 3 is going to show you how to write a rhetorical précis. And a rhetorical précis is a very specific type of writing. It has 5 sentences. You cannot have 4. You cannot have 6. 5. And the sentences are broken down like this. There's sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3, sentence 4, and sentence 5. And in the lecture, I go through exactly what that means for you. And I've also provided you examples here. So in the video, I give that to you, but I also have it linked for you up there on the Blackboard for you to see this sheet as well. This is an example of those 5 sentences. And here's the model of what it looks like based off of what we read with George Bush back in lecture number 1. Then you are going to apply that to your own piece. Going back to our theme, thinking about food and its connection within society, you're going to read a piece by Justice Sotomayor, and you're going to do a rhetorical analysis through SpaceCat, and finally write a rhetorical précis. I provided some helpful links for you on this assignment sheet. Here's the link to Sotomayor. Here's that framework that I just showed you. I've also provided a graphic. A lot of students like to see a graphic of it. That's linked here for you as well. The criteria for success is located here. This is a rubric assignment, which is already built into Blackboard for you that you can access and see. And I provided an example for you. So you'll have the Bush example, but you also have Sean Dietrich, me writing rhetorical précis for his Holy Tomato piece that we're going to explore this week. So you have 2 models to look at to help you with this writing process. Please, please, please don't put this off till Sunday night. Please start working on it as soon as you can. It is a little bit more of a cognitive load for many of us that have never experienced rhetorical analysis at this collegiate level. I will be providing you tons of feedback on your annotations from lecture number 1 to help support you before you get to the rhetorical précis. So if you can attend to lecture number 1 pretty early in the week, I can get back to you quickly so that you have it before you start to write the rhetorical précis. And then after you write the rhetorical précis, I will give you a lot of feedback on this as well and how to improve. We will consistently write rhetorical précis this semester. So it is a skill that I want to make sure that we're honing in on and we're understanding before we move on with the rest of the semester. All right, so that's it from week 2. Please make sure you're emailing me. If you have any questions or concerns, I'm here for you, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Bye.